Oh, hi. How's it going?
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to some more DualShock goodness. Today, we're actually doing something pretty cool and pretty interesting, courtesy of this man right here. This was
Yes,
absolutely
sir.
all his idea. We are checking out what developer, sir?
This is Sucker Punch.
And yeah, like I said, this was all Cody's idea. So what we're doing for today's video is we are doing a developer comparison. We're looking back early in the life cycle of this developer and maybe, fast forwarding a little bit and seeing how things change. The more things change, the more things stay the same, or whatever that song, however it goes.
100%. We kind of were talking a little bit about in the past, like how similar in gameplay this game is compared to like Ghost of Tsushima. Like there's a lot of parkour elements that hold up and they've carried over throughout their franchises. And we're like, let's just fucking make a video about it. So.
And funnily enough, I played these games as a kid, but this is a franchise to me that is entirely slept on.
100%. I'm on the second game right now, and I've never played these games before, and they're incredible. So far, I think they're really good games.
Which is crazy to me because you're like pro gamer guy. Like as far as I'm concerned, you played everything.
Yeah, it's just I feel like this generation, like the PS2, was when I was a kid. So I feel like you can relate to this too, where it was like you kind of just played the games that your parents bought you. Like it's not like you couldn't play everything like it is today.
I had disposable income by the age of 8.
So I feel like my parents just walked in, saw Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, and Sly Cooper, and were like, I think you'll like the Jack and Daxter one. And then, you know what I mean? And that's the one I grew up with. I played the whole Jack trilogy, but this game, yeah.
Oh my god, it's right up there, honestly.
Let's get into it.
So we'll just mess around with the first world and then just do some of the time trials. I'm in the swamplands personally. This is my own save file. It definitely feels so. This is actually the PS3 version of this game, but it definitely feels like, I don't know, it feels so PS2, but honestly in the best way possible. Like you could have pitched this to me as an early PS3 game and I would have accepted it.
Yeah, 100%. You're actually pretty far. So you only have this one, and then the one beyond that one is the final boss. So you only have 2 more hubs to get through.
I've been putting an okay amount of time in these games.
You're almost done with this game. So how do we activate the time trials?
So just go into the level, and you just play through. There will be an hourglass when you go through the portal. You just run right over the hourglass.
Okay, let's start with the first one.
Honestly, everything about this game, I've been gushing over the entirety that I've been playing this game.
Yeah.
Because...
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Like, I don't know how to... Like... The character design is very strong. Like, the voice acting is, like, some isn't as quality as others. Like, you can make fun of Bentley, like Bentley's voice.
Oh, Sly, I seem to have shit my pants.
If you press the circle button, you can wipe my ass. So, like, it's easy to make fun of, but it's distinct and iconic in that way. The vocal recording isn't at an all-time high. Like, some vocal recordings sound better than others. But honestly, everything is very iconic. The character design is strong. The level design is strong.
Well, the thing you gotta keep in mind too is that like when we're talking about all these developers, right? Like because we're gonna try and make this like a thing where we go back and talk about other developers' games from the beginning and to where they are now too. But like a lot of Sony's developers have this thing where their first game. I mean, this is their first game, and this is pretty goddamn good. I mean, it's not even the best in the trilogy from what I've heard and what I've played so far. I think the second game's better, but still, for the first game as a developer, I mean, this is pretty solid.
Yeah,
this holds up incredibly well.
As a first-stop shop or one-stop shop, like, if it's very rare that you go back and play a developer's first title and be like, this holds up, but I really feel that way for this, like, really hardcore, because honestly, the entire time that I've been spending with this game has been so much fun. Like, it definitely reminds me of that, like, Crash, Spyro, this Jack kind of era.
Yeah.
And, you have 1:17. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I'm not a big, like, collector as far as, like, get all the bottles and you'll unlock the thing. But something about this game actually brings that out in me, where it's just like, yeah, I want to get the page. And
I feel like that's a good platformer, though. Like, if the platformer makes you want to do all the side shit,
100%,
I mean, that's
a
pretty
really
good level
sign.
design, right?
Absolutely. Like, the characters are really good.
Shit,
The enemy design's pretty good. And then, like, how the story is contextualized by, like, you have a clear upgrade path. Like, you have something that's intertwined with the lore of, like, oh, hey, I have this book of thieves And I progress through the game. I learn new shit because I'm reading that book. Like, it contextualizes leveling up. That's really cool.
Dude, like, okay, I haven't played this game in maybe a few weeks now, and I just completely forgot how completely different this feels from the second game. The second game does not feel anything like this.
But I think it's also cool that, like, it's a mark that even within its own franchise, like, a game will feel different, but they're both good for different things.
How in the fuck am I supposed to do this whole thing?
Oh, easy, bro.
In a minute, dude. I feel like I'm going as fast as I fucking can.
Let me see that joint.
A minute? It's fucking insane. I have to get to the end of the level in a minute.
This is free. I actually don't know if it's free. It might be really hard, actually. I'm talking my shit,
Begin Master Thief Sprint. Okay, is there like an ability that you can put on him that makes him run faster?
Dive roll.
Oh shit, the roll?
I think oh right, you have to press circle.
Yep.
I've been playing
I think
this
it's
game.
faster to go the other way because you don't have to avoid.
Wait, no, I didn't want slow. Oh god.
This game fucking. So this game has a lot of parkour elements in it, but the character kind of magnetizes to whatever you hold. Like there's like this blue kind of sparkling stuff on like objects that you can like parkour to. You have to hold circle in this game to do it, right? Your character will magnetize to that thing, whether it be a pole or a rope or whatever, and they kind of keep the floatiness of how that feels. Like how like how floaty he feels when he magnetizes to that hook, right? They keep that in games like Infamous and Tsushima. They just take out the fact that you need to push a button to do it.
Yeah.
So in Ghost of Tsushima, you still feel just as floaty when you're jumping on like.
Okay, I can't lie. This is hard.
Dude, 10 seconds, you're not even halfway done. That's what I'm saying. But
this is impossible. This game is. I am curious at what the strats are because
I wonder too.
I'm quietly curious about speedrunning this game. And I don't know how crazy it actually gets.
Well, speedrunners, what they do in the beginning is they hit some rock and it shoots them across the map. I swear to God.
Like, actually?
I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I didn't make that up. I watched this.
I mean, I believe it just because I know how speedrunning goes. Oh, come on.
But, no, so they take out, like, the fact that you have to push a button. I feel like they had you push a button with the PS2 just because the hardware limitations, it's not going to be as consistent. They just take out the actual input of magnetizing to whether it be like a pole or like a thin bridge or whatever you're climbing on. They take that out in Tsushima. Your character just grabs onto the shit, but it still feels floaty, just like in Infamous. It kind of feels floaty.
When did do you know when this game came out?
I want to say early 2000. I mean, 2001 maybe. When did this game come out? Fuck is my phone?
Because honestly, that's my fault. I was actually gonna bring up stats and stuff on this, like how.
No, you're good. We can just do it right now. Hey Siri, 2002.
This is the PS3 version, and to imagine getting a game like this on PS2, and then the second installation goes on to be like bigger and crazier, because this is like a 6-hour game.
Okay, I see.
Oh, you got it? Master Sprint. Well, how the fuck are you doing that?
An ability.
What?
An ability. So you see how he magnetizes? These are all things that are in Ghost of Tsushima. You just don't push a button to do it.
So I'm obviously familiar with these. I'm obviously familiar with these games. I'm not familiar with Tsushima, however. But it's definitely one of those games that I want to get around to. It's just that, like,
I think you would really enjoy
probably
Tsushima.
The game backlog is at an all-time high, I feel like.
Yeah, 100%. I'm reading a book right now called The Book of Five Rings, which is about Miyamoto Musashi, samurai. And just the way the book is written and stuff, it reminds me a lot of, like, Tsushima. Like, it makes me think that Sucker Punch, like... yeah, you have to hold triangle to run, too, so I'm trying to, like, triangle X.
That's terrible.
But, it makes me think that when Sucker Punch was developing Tsushima, they, like, took that book as, like, and drew some inspiration from Miyamoto Musashi's writings, to capitalize, or sorry, not capitalize, but capture the feeling of, the 1200s era of samurai.
Kind of doubling back to this game though, like I think it's interesting how developers evolve throughout the years, because you look at a
100%.
game like this, or like
no.
or Spyro or Crash or whoever, and then go on to see what they make, which is another reason why we're doing the series. But like a lot of developers like that started with platformers like these, and then they evolve into like, you know, Naughty Dog doing The Last of Us or not or Uncharted. And
It speeds everything up. I just realized that.
the timer too.
Yeah, I think it does. Because I'm at the same exact fucking time. This is where I was when I ran out of time last time.
Oh, but you're all literally almost there. I can see the gate.
Dude, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. Wait, let's try rolling. What happens if we roll, dude? What were you saying? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's just interesting to see, like, because
Okay,
a
let's
lot
try
of
the
developers
rolling.
that we have in this day and age, and like honestly, it's more and more rare to see like a developer withstand the test of time, just because like they'll make like a massive misstep. Rest in peace, Rocksteady.
Oh, God. I feel like we should just save that for another video.
That will be a different video, but
Right.
like, you know, seeing a developer survive and then going on to see what they make, because obviously a developer's not going to make. That's
Okay,
actually
I might have found the strat.
maybe. Because obviously a developer isn't just going to keep on making platformers throughout the entirety of their career. So like seeing where they were to where they are now is very interesting.
Well, it's interesting because the PS2 era was kind of when the platformer started to die. Like, the platformer was
True.
really popular in the PS1, thus why they pumped money into PS2 era platformers. But the problem was they didn't sell as well as the PS1 ones.
But also some of the
Okay,
some of the most iconic games of this generation were platformers.
100%.
Like this, like Spyro,
100%.
like Jack. Oh come on, baby.
Oh my God, really? That
It's
fucked
that
me?
big chungus one right there.
Ooh.
Wow, what a dodge.
Come on, baby, come on. No!
If you just ignored him.
fucker. All right, so try to just roll past like the first two enemies.
Alright, we got this. We got this, baby. 2 lives in a
They were
dream.
fucking.
You have to be like frame perfect.
Dude, I know. We're like, I didn't expect this to be this hard, to be honest.
I know. I was like, oh, this will be a cakewalk. Like,
The thing I do like about this one, I'll point out, is that the second one you get a health bar. This one you do not. Everything's a one tap, including yourself, which I actually really liked. For a kid's platformer, that's pretty brutal, I gotta say.
yeah, I know.
So, I mean, if you get hit once, you're dead.
Apart from getting your lucky horseshoes.
Right. But
That's the only
aside
exception.
from the charm, yeah, that's true. But I mean, so it's kind of deeply satisfying when you just run through killing everything with one tap, knowing damn well you could die in one tap too.
This is bringing out the Dark Souls player in me, where I'm just like running past everything.
dude, you got it. You're making good time right now. Oh, get around that. Oh, fuck.
How do you
Shit,
even?
I don't even know. That kills your time though, right there. Just roll. Roll. You got it.
Oh,
dude, you were right fucking there, I think.
I hate this game.
So I think it's interesting though, kind of going back to the idea of like they started out with like a kid's platformer into like this mature, like adult themed game. It is kind of interesting, right? Like the ambition of these developers, like going from this to making Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, this game kind of is its own, like, I don't know, like it's like a Saturday morning cartoon is what the best way I could describe this game.
Yeah, very stylized in that way.
Like something you would watch on, you know, like Nickelodeon or something.
If you
like,
told me they made this slide cartoon, I would believe you.
I would believe you too. But going from that to making this like historical piece that's based off a real moment in history that happened is quite ambitious, I have to say. And
Yeah, how does a developer get from something like this to?
it's interesting, like, because the next game they make after this is, dude, he's a god. Everybody, get there! Come on, buddy! Go! Oh shit! Holy shit! Good job, dude.
Oh
With like
my-
0.3 seconds
I
left.
think that was 0 on the dot.
Holy shit, dude!
That sucked. That actually sucked.
Dude, holy fuck!
Oh
Good
my
shit.
God,
That's
bro.
fucking tough. That was level 1, dude. That was level 1.
Oh my
Fuck
my
me,
pitiful
dude. All right,
little-
give me that shit.
Yeah,
Let me try to get this, dude.
Oh, what are you saying though? I'm sorry.
No, that was fucking insane. I can't believe you got it.
Oh, fuck me.
Sly! I'm trying to get a hold of you, dipshit.
Do you even have me in your Fave 5?
Yeah.
How am I not in your speed dial?
Oh my shit.
Um,
Can we get a like on the video just for that?
what was I saying? I was talking about like ambition with
Yeah, like the
Tsushima.
like the seriousness of the nature, like yeah, like
Oh, like the second game in the franchise was Infamous. It was a superhero game or supervillain. They gave you the choice of being evil or good, which I thought was cool.
let's see if
But
there's anything that we're
it's just
missing.
crazy. Like those are their 3 franchises, right? And that's it.
I think let
So-
me double check that.
Like, how do you get inspired? Like after you make an Infamous game, you're like, okay, like we want to make a samurai game now. It's just interesting how that's like the next thing they wanted to do. You know?
Yeah, so starting from the
fucking-
bottom.
I'm fucking dumb.
Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus released in 2002. Sly 2 released in 2004. Sly 3 2005. So 1 year difference between
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Yeah.
Interesting.
Rocket Robot on Wheels in 1999. Never heard of that.
They made that
I guess so.
Rocket Robot. Well, that could have been when they were a part of Ubisoft because Sucker Punch is a departure of Ubisoft.
Okay, and then all the Infamous stuff, and then yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a developer to make nothing but bangers, like honestly, no real major missteps. Like, there's plenty of developers out there that just fucking completely drop the ball here and there. But
Oh,
it's
dude.
also like a sign that this developer isn't afraid to have a little bit of a time gap between their titles, and I think that kind of helps them in a way because you could be like a developer like EA, which produces like massive amounts of shit.
You know, for as like shitty as I feel like Sony can be when it comes to manufacturing films, we've seen it with the Spider-Man films where they'll just, you know, make these shitty spin-off movies that have no good directing or writing or any like, it's more just like a cash grab.
Yeah.
They're the polar opposite when it comes to their video games. I feel like they give their developers like as much freedom. What the fuck just happened?
You got a hold circle.
I did, but he like slingshotted. Anyway, they give their developers like complete creative freedom and give them the money to make, like, you know what I mean? Like Sony Santa Monica, the developer of God of War, they've literally been making that franchise since the PS2 and just continued to make
God
of
of War.
War. I'm sure that'll be another developer we'll dive into at some
Oh
point.
yeah, we can absolutely.
But
that.
I'm just bringing them up in this video because this is also a Sony developer, right? They're like, Ghost of Tsushima is a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
All these games are PlayStation exclusives.
Is Ghost of Tsushima on PC though?
I don't know. That's a good question. But as far as consoles, it's an exclusive, right? And
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see that you can tell that there is no like greedy practices like some developers we could go into, like Rocksteady.
Or I mean, like, even
There's just no, like, it's not like Sony's breathing down their neck like Activision would be and being like, hey, we need to put this and this and this in the game in order to make money beyond the initial sale, you know? It's like a lot of these games are just great single player experiences, nothing beyond that. And they're not trying to like milk you for every fucking dime that you have. And it's just, I don't know. I think there's something to be recognized with that. Because one day I feel like that'll be gone and you'll look back and be like, we should have appreciated the time that we had with these
the art
games.
form of just making a good game
Right.
and having it be a full and complete package. Damn, I didn't know you could jump over
I
that.
didn't know either. Oh shit.
The art form of just making a good game is dying because it's either patch culture or like, 5 seconds.
Oh, I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Damn.
All right, you give it a shot, dude. I mean, you fucking smoked the last level.
I don't know about smoked. At 0.00, I wouldn't quite call that smoked. Let me make sure I have my roll. Yeah. Nice. Let's go. So,
All right, hand it over. No, I'm just kidding.
so if you
I'm
didn't
just-
know, you can actually do a little cheese that I've been taking major advantage of.
You can do a little cheese, dude.
Yeah, a little cheese thing. With
So you played all 3 of these games?
yeah.
Did you beat all 3 of these games as a kid?
I don't think so. I do not think so.
You
you
didn't
could-
play the 4th one, right? Which is a good thing to point out. I'm going to play through all of them,
Yeah, I've
including the
not
4th
played.
one, but the 4th one was made later and was not developed by Sucker Punch. And I've also heard that's like everyone's least favorite game. And I want to see why. Because it's interesting to see
How do you ruin a franchise?
well, not that, but like when you play a game that's like a continuation of a franchise, but it's not the original developer. There's been a few instances where I've played it and I'm like, okay, this doesn't feel like their game.
Yeah.
Like there's a Jack and Daxter game that came out. It was like Jack and Daxter, The Lost Frontier.
You're feeling that with Dragon Ball, right?
Oh, 100%, dude. It just 100%. Or like Star Wars, dude. You're like, this does not feel like George Lucas. We can go into that in a whole other, but just in general, right? Like you can just tell that it's not
Yeah, so if
the
you didn't
original
know,
creator.
you could just infinitely go in and out of the level and then just get the lives. You don't have to.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's something I very quickly found out. I'm like, damn, I'm getting strapped for lives. And then by the time I had like 20 lives, I was just getting good at the game. So
Dude, just cheesing over
you're
here.
damn
dude.
right, bro.
I'm just kidding.
If the game's gonna cheese me, I'm gonna cheese it, motherfucker.
But there's a Jack and Daxter game that was made for the PSP and the PS2, and it was called The Lost Frontier, and it's absolute dog shit. I mean, it doesn't feel anything like Naughty Dog's game.
All right, now I
So
gotta
I'm curious
ask.
to see if Thieves in Time, the fourth game of this franchise, feels that significantly different. Like because it'll make me appreciate the first three more and be like, damn, like Sucker Punch just nailed the core mechanics of this game right off the bat. Like,
All right, so before Sly, what was your relationship with Sucker Punch? Did you, I don't remember if you already said, but did you play any of the Infamous games, or was it Tsushima's your first shop and you're like, oh man, I really need to...
my first Sucker Punch game was the first Infamous. And the reason why is, I don't know if you remember this. It's going to date me a little bit, but back in 2011, the PS3...
Had a bundle?
No, the PSN servers were compromised.
Oh,
And they were shut down for like 2 months. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
You literally could not play online for 2 months because they were compromised. So to compensate people for that, they gave you Infamous for free.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So
I do remember that, actually.
that's how I got Infamous, and I really enjoyed the first
Shit.
Infamous game. I did that same thing. Hit X. There you go.
That ruined the...
Yeah, no, I
time,
did
though.
the same thing.
There's no way I can make up that.
And I really enjoyed the first Infamous. I played a little bit of Infamous 2. I didn't get very far into 2. And then I liked what I was playing, though. And then I played Second Son, which I really liked Second Son.
I actually didn't play Second Son.
I
I have it.
liked Second Son. I don't think I liked it as much as the first one, but I still liked it. And then Ghost of Tsushima came out, and I'm not going to lie. I kind of looked at it and was like, it's just another Assassin's Creed type game. Like, I'm not going to like it, right? I didn't play it when it first came out.
No way. I didn't get my jump. This game is garbage. I mean, there's literally no way I can make up that time. You literally
No,
have to do
it
this
just-
pretty perfect.
You're good. But, I mean, and I don't think I would blame anybody for looking at Ghost of Tsushima and being like, oh, it's just an Assassin's Creed clone, just set in samurai era, right? But
You can't do that?
it's a lot more than that, and I underestimated it. I bought it on a whim. I was just like, oh, Ghost of Tsushima is like $15. All right, I'll buy it. Like, I didn't like, I wasn't like crazy about it. I think I didn't play it till like a year and a half after it came out. Ghost of Tsushima. Like, it was not like a top priority game for me. But holy shit, was I wrong about like what I thought of that game, because the game is incredible. Like, it is much better than any Assassin's Creed game that's come out in the last 10 years, I can tell you that. And the voice acting is incredible. The main narrative is incredible. It literally has arguably the best atmosphere in like modern gaming. I think the next thing that's like as good as that would be Red Dead 2, just as far as like just pure beauty. Like, the game is just beautiful to look at. Like, Ghost of Tsushima is like one of the prettiest games I've ever played. I mean, you'll see just like flowers, just like petals just flowing in the wind and shit. It's insane. Like, it made me want to actually go to Tsushima Island. Like in real life, I was like, dude, I would go to this fucking island to visit. Like, it's that beautiful. They do such a good job at like,
Oh, no shit.
at being like respectful to Japanese culture. And just like the island itself is just, you can tell they like deeply care about the project.
Interesting.
As opposed to like an sorry, just to like finish up my points. As opposed to like a modern Assassin's Creed, where it's like it's not that I don't think they're trying to tell a game with a historical accuracy. It just feels like everything you do in the modern Assassin's Creed game is just like so by the numbers. Like all your side quests are exactly the same, and it's just padding for the sake of padding. It's like, okay, it's a 200-hour game, but like if everything is just over and over and over again, I don't want to fucking play it. Like Ghost of Tsushima, the quests feel unique, the level design feels good, like the platforming feels good, like you figuring out how to get to the top of a shrine or something is interesting, and Sucker Punch just nails it. And I feel like they're the developer, dude, that everyone just kind of goes, eh. But then the moment you play one of their games, you're like, dude,
really
their fucking games slap. Like, why have I been sleeping on this developer? Like, and no offense to Sucker Punch, like, I just feel like it's like everyone just thinks, oh, Naughty Dog, you know, so on and so forth, as like the Sony like heavy hitters, but Sucker Punch is easily in that conversation for me.
I mean, Sucker Punch is a lot like this game, where it's just like, you know, it's looked at as a time, it's like, oh, it's a PS2 game, but once you actually get around to playing it, I'm just like, oh, dude, this is back when there was kind of like a love put into these games, and it's good to see like a franchise and like not a franchise, but a developer keep putting that love into their titles, which is why, like, you know, you'll see a gap between titles that they release, but it's because you know that there's like a certain amount of care put into each and every one of these games, and you go from a game like this being very stylized to a game like Tsushima being like hyper realistic. And Infamous does its best for like at the time. It's not the most visually crazy looking thing ever, but then again, what at that time was.
Fuck, man, this is exactly where I got last time.
You're close though. You're very close.
No, I'm listening to you though. Go.
I haven't really thought that hard on Sucker Punch as a company, and I guess that's more to your point. You know, they get nothing but like a thumbs up from me. Like they really have done no wrongdoing in my eyes. Like we'll save our opinions of Sly 4 when we get to it. He'll probably get to it before I do, but you know, even then I won't hold that against them because it's not them, right?
Right. I mean, I wouldn't even knock you if you decided to pass on that game. I mean,
I'm curious. I'm
gonna play it purely because I want to see the feel difference. I want to see if I can tell that it's not a Sucker Punch game.
I watched a bit of a and I haven't watched Let's Plays in forever, but I watched a bit of a Let's Play when I was probably a teenager of that game.
Oh, which one?
Sly 4.
Oh, okay. Thieves in Time.
I remember nothing about it. So.
I remember like that was the only one I played like maybe 5 minutes of when I was a kid. And then it didn't grab me, so I didn't continue. But I also didn't know back then that they made the Infamous games. Like you know?
My question is now, do you value a game like this more being older or about the same when you were younger?
There's something about like, okay, the one thing, just because I have been talking about Tsushima quite a bit. Well, I have more to say about that game, but we'll wait until we actually play it.
I have nothing to say about Tsushima right now, just because I haven't played it. But.
No, but as far as this game goes, like the one thing I started to recognize playing through this, that I feel like all of the games of this era kind of have a similar thing, is like nothing super complex happens in their gameplay. It's just that the simplicity of their mechanics, they exploit it so well, where they're like, okay, what are the possibilities that we can have the character do with these mechanics? And they just execute it so well to the point where you're like, okay, that's really creative level design right there. Like, oh, okay, like it makes you think outside of the box, or you'll just look at environments and be like, okay, how am I going to navigate this? Like, and I think the PS2 era was just a really good era of just like experimentation with very basic ideas, you know? And I think a lot of the developers of that era just fucking nailed it. Like, I mean, there's a reason why they're so good today. I mean, fuck, man. Like,
12 seconds on the clock. You got this, baby.
Oh, shit. I am going way faster than I was last time.
He's tapped in.
Fuck. Dude, I wasn't even thinking. Fuck, man. You shouldn't have said anything. You shouldn't have said anything, dude. I don't know how the fuck... Whatever. You get what I'm saying.
No, I do. Like, I think, like, going back to these games for me, I very much value the creativity from the developers, kind of like what you're saying. where it's just like, you know, you kind of had to be creative as a developer because of the hardware limitations.
Right.
And like, yeah, you take such simple mechanics like, okay, you interact with circle, you jump with X, you use an ability with triangle, but like it's just how they use them, and it's good to see a developer continuing to be creative throughout the years without limitations, with less limitations. Because one thing to be creative back here because he kind of had to be, but it's different to be creative on the PS3. It's different to be creative on the PS4, because we've had an extensive conversation about this too, where it's just like, you know, so many games are like rinse and repeat mechanics of like everything feels very samey.
Yeah.
So when something stands out to me, like it's just more to the point that I'm just like, you know what, thumbs up developer, like, you know, insert developer that you like.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of copycat syndrome going on. Like, I love Dark Souls. There's a billion Dark Souls clones out there.
Yeah.
You know, what else? God of War, Arkham. Just huge examples of like, hey, hyper successful franchise, let's copy it.
Right.
Which, you know, I'll give it some credit where it's just like, you know.
Which is such a, like, it's going to get a little off topic of,
Lay it down.
of the games that we're talking about. But I think, if anything, it's just more of like a round of applause for them for not doing this. But like, totally lost my train of thought. God damn it! I'm trying so hard to focus. I'm so sorry.
Hey, you're good.
Hold on, it'll come back to me. Keep going with what you were saying.
I understand.
I'm trying so hard to. I've got 30 seconds on the clock, bro.
So I had a grilled cheese today.
I'm trying so hard, dude. Come on, baby. Oh, fuck, dude.
You have 20 seconds, bro.
I know, but fuck, dude. Dude. Oh shit. What the fuck am I? Okay.
You're supposed to, yep.
Okay.
Okay, now grab on the hook.
Okay, going.
It'll bring you.
Oh, dude, no. There's still a lot more to this level, dude.
There's not that much more. We're close. We're so close. You're literally right there. Let me see.
Oh my god, dude.
You think you're your point, bro.
I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. I feel like developers that, like you just listed, like God of War and all these games, like they stuck true to who they were, and they didn't let modern gaming trends like taint the image that people have of them. And them, I mean the developers. Like, it's not like they're like, oh, they fucking put like, you know, like a battle pass in this, or they put loot boxes in this, you know what I mean? They're like, fuck, man, like you had a good game here, but you just soiled it with fucking, you know, shitty business practices.
Yeah, and it's sad that those shitty business practices has become like very staple.
Well, it just baffles me that you still see developers doing this in 2024, like the whole Rocksteady thing. It baffles me that that's still happening, because then you'll hear things like God of War Ragnarok just sold 3 million copies in its first day. I'm like, that's fucking bank, dude. It's a $70 game.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like Ragnarok, for example, they dropped the DLC. It's like a massive DLC too, which I've been meaning to play. Completely free.
Wow.
Doesn't cost any money.
Yeah, seeing that is pretty crazy, because you'll have developers like, I love Insomniac. I love what they've been doing so far.
Yeah.
But you know, Miles Morales was an entirely separate game. That was originally meant to be DLC.
Right.
So I'm just like, you know, they could have just extended it out to be another game, or they could have charged for that DLC in itself.
Yeah, that's why, like, I don't know. I did not like Miles Morales.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty mid.
I mean, you shouldn't have sold it as like, what you should have done if you were like trying not to be greedy was you should have just bundled it with the PS5 edition of Spider-Man 1, because the game came out like right when the PS5 came out. Should have been like Spider-Man remastered 60 FPS for the PS5 and comes with the DLC. That's what you should have done, and people would have been way more on board with that, which they kind of did that, but they sold it as two separate games, as if you were getting a full-fledged game with Miles Morales, which, I mean, I guess you kind of were, but it's not like there was enough in the game to make you like go like, okay, this feels like a proper sequel to what I just played.
Yeah.
It just feels more like maybe an extra 10 hours of what you just played.
It was like,
and that's the DLC in my eyes.
Yeah,
like,
it was a 12-hour game, but it felt so padded out to get that 12 hours in the first place.
Right.
Where I'm just like, dude, God of War? Fucking, I haven't even played the God of War games like that, but, you know,
I think you'd enjoy those games a lot
most definitely. I think the most daunting thing about it
You're doing
is
pretty good on time, by the way.
just like the fact that it's an entire franchise. You know, you got to get through. Which I have no.
Catch that before it goes up. That's gonna save you on time.
Oh no.
Oh
I think I can make it at this
no,
point.
I think we got to figure out some way to catch that on the way up. You know?
Come on, baby. There's no shot. 3.
Yeah, now you're fucked.
Damn, this one's hard.
This one is fucking hard. This game's fucking hard, dude.
In general, this game isn't that tough. Like once you get your flow, like you know, it doesn't get too much more difficult. Like there's difficult things within it, and
We're just doing something that happens to be really tough.
within the game.
Yeah, it's a time trial thing, but the game is not this tough. I mean, it can be tough though.
I like what this game does with like, it doesn't just stick to the platformer formula. Like there's stuff with Murray and the races, and there's stuff with the underwater subs, and like.
Right. I think one thing you can praise with this game, just kind of feeding off what you just said, is that like with its competitors like Mario and Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, it does separate itself from those games.
Yeah.
It is a platformer, but none of those games feel like this game at all.
The core
You know,
mechanics.
and I think that's pretty impressive.
The core mechanics in itself would have been enough, but the fact that they went like a couple steps beyond and like, oh yeah, let's add like a little segment to like shake things up a little bit,
Right.
and like differentiating gameplay in this era where there's a potential to be very samey is pretty important to like help you stand out. It's just a shame that this game didn't stand out for a lot more people. Like the people that played this game love this game to death. They love this franchise, and I totally understand why. It's just that so many people missed it because, you know, people in your situation where it's just like, oh, okay, I'm a kid and I have to pick between Sly Cooper and this guy with a gun and a ferret.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, okay, you know, I totally get it. Like for me, my neighbor was the one that played these games, and then
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Fuck, that might have killed me.
I picked these games up because of him, actually. And I just never looked back. Our friend Troy really enjoys these games as well. And I've talked to Troy extensively about how good Sly actually was. And I'm just like, dude, the fact that this game, this many years later, it holds up still so substantially, very impressive. Like
100%.
it's nice to see. Oh, nice.
Come on, fuck! Dude.
Oh my God, there's
Can I
got
just go around? No, I have to go up this fucking thing, huh? Shit.
I'm wondering if
I don't fucking
need
know.
to
Is there
roll
another
more.
way up? This is the only way up, huh?
Yeah, you have to take this way. Damn, I'm gonna take this as a personal challenge eventually. Damn, bro. I mean, we're literally right there. It's just like
No.
we would need to shave off like 8 seconds. But honestly, I feel like that's a pretty good.
I was just about to say, I think that's a good place to stop with this. I mean, just to have a couple more things to say before we switch over. I think this game does a lot of interesting things that no other game of this era was doing. I don't think it's getting the love that it really I mean, they should have gotten their flowers for this franchise, and I just feel like they didn't. Yeah, I mean, this game's just fucking awesome. The trilogy, I should say, is awesome. I haven't played 3, but I'm sure it's good. I've heard it's good.
It's always just really nice to like have, like in your case, like we've already gone over, like you haven't touched this franchise until recently. And like for someone in your shoes to go back and still being able to enjoy this game, it just goes to show like the
And I want to also point out, like, sorry, not to cut you off, but I'm not blinded by nostalgia with this game, which I think is another thing to keep in mind.
yeah, it's part of my point too, where it's just like someone new to it can still enjoy it and still
100%.
find
I've
great
literally never touched any of these games as a kid, so playing them for the first time, I'm like, damn, like there's actually a lot going on with its mechanics. I don't feel like I've really played a platformer quite like these. And I've played like all of the 3D Mario games. I've played all the, like, I love platformers, 3D platformers. And I just feel like this game really does separate itself from the herd, you know, and it should have gotten a lot more credit. 100%. Do you have any final thoughts?
Check out this game if you haven't already. Like, don't let seeing it from us stop you from playing it yourself. Like, let this be kind of the green light to like, oh, hey, if you want to pick up this game, you absolutely should, because honestly, you're getting our recommendation here, and there's like a cult following for this game of the people that played this game to let you know that it's extremely valuable and definitely worth your time.
Sony, put it on the PS5.
Fuck, dude, remaster it.
Yeah.
Remake it.
That would be cool too.
I don't know why they haven't, like, but, you know. I think that's going to do it for us on this one. We're going to switch on over to some Tsushima now, and
We'll see you there.
hack and slash.
It's just the dude with the helium and that choir is like, oh, you know what I'm talking about? It's that crazy ass high note.
I can't even, I can't, I just turned into Mickey Mouse. Fuck.
The sucker punch, dude.
All right, we have returned with the second half of the video. We have now moved on from Sly to the Samurai. Welcome back to Ghost of Tsushima, everyone. Or I guess not welcome back, but welcome to Ghost of Tsushima. Cody's been playing this on his own, and out of what I hear, he's been enjoying the ever-living fuck out of it.
Yes, this is, depending on how they end this game, which I've heard nothing but good things about the ending of this game, this might be, like, pretty high up on some of my favorite games of all time. This game's really solid. I like this game a lot.
I mean, Sly's made its way onto kind of one of my classic games of all time of that era. Yeah, this visually looks really cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I mentioned it in the Sly portion of this video, but, I mean, this is one of the prettiest games I've ever played. I mean, just insane. They just nail the feel of this game so much. But I do want to take us to a point to kind of show off the platforming a
Absolutely.
bit. So we're going to go back up here.
This is going to be completely Cody. Obviously, I'll chime in here and there when I have things to talk about. But, I mean, he's the one that's been sinking all the time into this game. Definitely wouldn't mind getting to this game eventually. But, you know, as I've said, there's a billion games to play out there.
There's a lot to unpack here, right? So Sly 2 is a vastly different game from Sly 1, right? What Sly 2 does is it takes these levels. There's no, like, hub world and you just go in and do a level like Sly 1 like we saw. In Sly 2, it's more like an open world, damn near. And there's just points of interest that you have to look at with your scanner or whatever, and that's where you start your next mission within that. So it's partially open world. They take that idea and expand upon it in the Infamous games where they literally give you an open world and all their missions in there. And then they take that idea and they expand it even more and give you a literal open island of Tsushima with this game. And I mean, it's literally the entire island of Tsushima.
What is this dude's name, by the way?
Jin Sakai. He's part of the Sakai.
Jin Sakai.
Jin, you're gonna need to
Press the circle button.
Bentley's in this game.
Press the circle button to disembowel your enemies.
Jin, do you read me?
I mean, immediate impression, this game visually is very, very pretty. I could easily throw this into, like, visually one of the best looking games I've seen.
Oh, dude. Okay, so
Do you have what's another game that's, like, if not this, like, right up there for you visually?
Red Dead 2. I mean, the as far as, like, just pure visuals, Red Dead 2 is the prettiest game I've ever played, but this might actually surpass that for me.
Wow.
Okay, so the thing I want to show you is, so the hook ability, right, that you get with Sly, where he just kind of like magnetizes and he's got that momentous feel, that is brought back in this game.
Hell yeah.
And it's very similar, obviously more realistic, but you can tell that the blueprint for that mechanic started in Sly. You know what I mean? And
it's definitely nice to see when things like that come kind of full circle, like just seeing the inspiration kind of coming into play. And even something from a platformer, like a kid's platformer, air quote around kids, because obviously a game like that's valuable at all ages. But, you know, just seeing the blueprint be there and, you know, it would be funny to imagine the conversation being had is like, oh, hey, like, we need an interesting mechanic to throw in the samurai game. It's like, oh, well, you remember Sly?
remember that game we made like 20 years ago?
Yeah, for real.
So like what we were just doing, right? With the climbing up. In Sly, that would have been like hold circle to magnetize. The character just magnetizes with you just holding the stick up that direction. So it's just, you know, another example of just the evolution of ideas that they planted the seed in fucking 15, 20 years ago.
And have them still hold up as like solid mechanics. It's not like any of the mechanics in Sly felt dated, but, you know, it's just like the ultimate evolution of seeing them here.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out where the fuck to go.
Welcome to 40 minutes of Cody being lost. Just
Okay, we got it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, very cool. I mean, it would have easily been like, Sly, remember to press the circle button.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. So if you hit circle right before you hit the ground, he'll roll. Stops you from taking fall damage.
Very nice.
Did I just go in a giant circle? I
You
think I
definitely did.
Dude.
Welcome back to 39 minutes of Cody Beal.
I guess so, dude.
No, it's all good. Honestly, just
Well, I've already done this shrine. I'm just kind of trying to show off, like, what the developer does. Like, so this is a shrine, right? At the top of this shrine, you get, like, an ability or a charm that you can add on to your armor.
okay.
Nothing in this, though. Like, it's not like there's tier level armor or tier level weapons like you see in Assassin's Creed trying to capitalize on, like, the looter shooter thing. None of that. Which is, you know, something to commend with modern games. I mean, the fact that they don't have some sort of mechanic that's like, you could just earn it and it'll take you 20 hours, or you could just buy it for like an extra $5.
I fucking hate that.
So, I mean, I like that everything's earned. They don't, you know, try to force feed you
Especially
some fucking
in, like-
bullshit. I'm trying to remember what the fuck to do.
It's scummy no matter where you go to see something like that, but it hits even worse in a single player game. Would you
100%,
would you say it hits worse or better than like single player versus multiplayer, like that practice?
What do you mean?
So-
Well,
You could buy it to get better equipment or whatever.
I think it's shitty all around.
It's shitty all around, but what lands worse for you, having it be in a single or multiplayer? I'm making you pick your poison right now.
It's worse in multiplayer.
Because you feel like you can't combat.
Because at least single player, it's like,
You can grind it out.
yeah, and like there's probably something still there to enjoy. Okay, so you see how he kind of like just magnetizes to that?
Yeah. Oh my god.
It kind of feels like Sly in that way. Except in Sly, you'd hold circle, you'd be over here, you'd magnetize to it. And this, he just kind of magnetizes to it.
I'm getting really hung up on the visuals right now because like turn around.
Okay, see how he just hops up there though?
Yeah.
And then it's very floaty. Like it's very floaty, just like Sly in Infamous.
So turn around to the fourth, dude. Just seeing like the
Dude.
vibrance of like the yellows and the whites and greens, and just like this game is very vibrant and pretty.
100%. So we're at the lower portion of the game. Up here is all like snow and shit, which this is the last section. So you start out here. This is Act 1. And then this section here is Act 2. And then this section here is Act 3. And so I'm pretty close to beating the game. But
I like in games where like, you know, you have like a lot of land to progress through, but like I like the transition between land opening up feel like natural. Like one of the games that does it best for me, even though it's just like, oh hey, you can look at these as levels, is Batman Arkham Knight. Obviously one of my favorite games of all time. Like the more you progress through the story, like each island feels like very unique and distinct in that fashion, where it's just like, dude, the whole game could have been here and I would have been fine with it, but then like it goes on to like ramp up and bigger. And I don't know, there's a difference in certain games. They just feel more levelly. I don't know how to best explain it, but I would like to think you know what I'm kind of getting at.
yes. One thing I want to point out too is you noticed in Slide 2,
Yeah.
the crawling under is in first person, right?
Yeah, same thing here.
Same thing here.
Oh man.
So I mean, literally, like,
wow.
you can see that this is a sucker punch game, like, which I think that's why I wanted to make a video
that's
like this. I
pretty.
mean, holy shit, dude! Like,
just drink
and we
it.
haven't even fucking done the combat. The combat's sick in this game, dude. Like, the story's sick. Like, we're just kind of like, I'm just kind of navigating you around, just showing you like
honestly
what the game's got to show, like offer as far as like platforming, and I'm trying to show off the aspects that relate similarly to Sly. There's a lot of aspects to this game that relate more to other games that they've obviously drawn inspiration from. But the thing that I thought was really cool going back and playing a franchise like Sly is how much of that DNA is still embedded in a game like this, which I think is really cool. That's like, it's almost like, you know, they respect things that they did 15 years ago and they stick to it. You know, they're like, these mechanics worked and we want to have those mechanics in our future games. I can't see a goddamn thing.
So a breathtaking view like that does a lot for me. That's like huge points. Like obviously it's not going to be like,
But like, look at see the leaves?
yeah, bro,
Just
you
kick up,
You
like-
fuck them leaves up, bro. A good view does so much for me. Like seeing it, like comparing like similar-ish games like Spider-Man versus Batman. I argue that I like the traversal more in Batman, even though it's really, really good in Spider-Man, especially with Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I like being able to fly above everything as Batman because you get to like that time to drink in everything. Like you really get like a full view. So like seeing something like that in this, or like Breath of the Wild is another great example. When you have like your first like Link's coming out of the shrine or whatever for the first time, and then you just drink in the whole world. That's huge brownie points for me.
Right. Like, and the thing I like that they do too is they take something like a mountain, right? Just something that any other developer would make boring as fuck to navigate, and they make it interesting. They're like, okay, so we just saw that bridge, but the bridge is fallen out. What other way are we going to find a way up this mountain? Okay, well, we can try and climb on these rocks. So, okay, if I jump down here, and they make it like, look, there's a bridge right there. So we'll try and go right here. They make it interesting, you know?
What would be really cool is if
I could fucking see what the fuck I'm doing.
is if like some
think it's the
bridges would
glare.
like give out on you like midway through walking through them, so you had to like quick react and be like grappling hook onto this.
Well, you'll grab onto like pieces, like ledges here, and it'll crumble, and you'll be like,
Nice.
oh fuck, I gotta find another way up. Like,
Dude, wow. And honestly, like,
I know a lot of people compare this to Sekiro. So what are your thoughts? Oh, let me make one quick point because I remember what I was gonna say. So this would be the top of the shrine, right?
okay,
But you see where the bridge is, where you'd normally walk up. That's why it's interesting, is because we had to go all the way around the mountain to get up. And then the cool thing is too, is once you're up here, they're like, you don't need to climb all the way back down. You can just descend the shrine and then you're back down here.
what I would have liked to seen right there would have been like Horizon Zero Dawn kind of thing, where like you get to the top of the structure and you can just like rappel down.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
And then it would make a future shortcut for you later because you already went up, or you went up the mountain, you already went down. So there's like the still existing rope. That'd be cool to see.
The thing I liked about what this game does too is that, like any other game, open world game would be like, okay, I want to go here. And it would just give me a line, right? This game has a really cool mechanic where you'll see streaks of the wind. You swipe up on your touchpad and you just follow the wind. That's how you know where to go.
That's
I think
dope.
that's really cool. I've never seen any other game have an idea like that. That's really cool to me. But people compare this game to Sekiro. From what I've seen of Sekiro, I don't think, like, I think they're both probably tremendous games. I haven't played Sekiro. This game's tremendous, but I'm sure Sekiro's tremendous too. But just because they're both set in the same kind of era, I don't think they even remotely would play the same.
I think the traversal could be like samey. I don't know how the combat is.
The
one for
combat
one.
is not like Sekiro in this game. I can promise you.
Honestly, like I'm more into this, to be honest. And I beat Sekiro. Like I had a time with Sekiro, but honestly, just out of everything that I've seen, if I had to choose one or the other, I'd already choose this. Like,
Dude, and congratulations to Sucker Punch for creating something incredible as far as storytelling goes, because it's obviously worthy enough to get a film. They're making a film of this game. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a dying practice of just making a good game. Like, a good game, dope. A good game will do enough. Like, it's been seen. Oh.
you have different stances,
My
right?
katana's battery is low.
So you have different stances here for every type of enemy. So this guy's got two swords. We're gonna
But could you combat an enemy with your other
You
stances?
can, but it would take you way longer to defeat him.
Okay.
This guy's fucking pussy bitch.
Overkill.
Yeah, dude. I
Oh
was a
my
little
God.
excessive. I didn't mean to give an explosive arrow. My bad.
No, but it's a dying practice of just seeing developers create good games. Like we've already talked about like greedy business practices and stuff like that, but like a good solid game can stand out and make booms. Like there's I've talked about Elden Ring with you before, but Elden Ring sold 20 million copies, and that's pretty fucking massive for a developer that is like FromSoft isn't niche by any means of like the imagination, but it's like looked at as like, oh, this is a really hard developer. Like this developer just makes hard games. That's like the perception on it.
Right.
And for it to still sell that well, like, hey, you make a good game, it'll make booms.
I think From Software is one of those like just things in general where it's like it has such a strong dedicated fan base that it like no matter what happens, even if it never got mainstream, they'll always be a successful developer because there's so many people that like respect the shit out of their games. And even I who do not really play From Software games, I respect them as a developer because they've never really sacrificed their vision of their games for greedy practices. If anything, they make it more unforgivable and make it harder for you to accomplish. But that's why people like their games, is because they're so difficult to accomplish and beat. You know, it's not like they're like, well, you could spend an extra $20, get this sword, and then you beat the boss in 5 minutes. If they started doing that, I think From Software would just go downhill, dude. Like
the closest thing that they've done to that was like, oh, hey, if you get like a pre-order bonus, which that's fine by me. I mean,
right.
But it's just like, oh, hey, you want to fucking upgrade your weapon? We'll spend $15 to get all the Titanite shards that you need. I'm just like, man, fuck you. But there's definitely games that does that.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Would you say this game is pretty tough? Is it?
I think it's tough at first because it actually kind of takes you a little bit to understand how the gameplay works. Like when I was playing it the first time, I was just kind of going in like slashing and getting my ass kicked. And it's going to sound so stupid, but I had to think like a samurai, dude. I was like, okay, so if I approach this fight, it's better to be precise with every single one of your movements than to just go in there waving around because you're going to get your ass kicked. It's all about being calm and then just like sporadic aggression at the right timing. You have to think like how they fight, which I think is cool and makes you more immersed in the game because then you start to feel like you're Batman. You start to feel like you're Spider-Man. You feel like a samurai.
That was the big tagline of like, especially Arkham, is like, all these games make you feel like Batman. I'm just like, it's a corny line, but I like it.
I mean, but they're not wrong. That's why those games are great. But that's why this game is great. It's because you feel like you're a fucking samurai, dude. This game nails it. Like the whole feel of it.
I would definitely say this game would elate those feelings way more than a Sekiro. Because, like, I don't know. Like, obviously you have you're a shinobi or something like that.
Like a Ronin.
Yeah,
you're not really
in Sekiro.
There's Ronins in this game too. You're part of an actual samurai clan. Like your Sekai clan is like something that's been like your father was a samurai. It's being passed down.
I mean, you look at a game like this though, and it's just like, dude, this game would hit just as hard with like a black and white filter, which I think it has, or like a sepia kind of like.
Well, it
feels like you're playing a samurai movie.
Right. So the 50s and 60s had these films by a certain director. He made the film Seven Samurai, which I've been trying to get through. It's like a 4.5 hour long movie. Really good for its time though. Like for the 50s, really solid. Obviously they were inspired by that. So they put a Kurosawa, that's the director, Kurosawa mode. So when you put that on, it turns the game into like a Kurosawa film because Kurosawa made his films in black and white.
Fuck yeah.
That's fucking awesome to me. That's so cool. And like there's a little bit of like grain. You see it?
Yeah, I almost wish it was more fuzzy, actually.
But isn't that cool? Like it's just so
cool.
Like you can tell they took inspiration from his films because he made nothing but samurai films for like fucking 15 years.
Dude, fuck yeah.
So way cool that they put that in there. But the only reason I don't do it is because the game looks so goddamn gorgeous as is that like
you'd almost need like a second playthrough.
Like I mean, just look at how bright and colorful everything looks. It's just gorgeous to look at.
I've actually seen like a TikTok or something of someone playing Ghost of Tsushima on like a really old TV.
Yeah.
Of like dude, I don't even know. Like I don't even know if
it's a CRT TV.
I don't even know if it's considered a CRT. It's like before CRTs.
Like one of those old 1950s big box TVs.
Exactly. And then they played with the black and white mode on. I'm like, this is actually kind of cool.
That is fucking cool, dude.
Oh man.
So for example, we're trying to get here, right? Well, because I haven't been there, it's a question mark. But you'll have these birds that help you navigate to there.
Yeah, you're telling me it's part of the story. Like the wind is your
like
father or something, and
the birds are your mother. So that's what I mean. Like I think it's really cool that they respect Japanese culture like that. because the character's told like your father's never gone or your mother's never gone. The father will always be the wind at your back and your mother will always be the birds in the sky. And I'm like, damn, that's actually like a really beautiful
like theming.
Dude,
kind
the
of.
whole game is full of that though. Like just super well done, heartfelt moments. Like Sucker Punch nailed it out of the park with this game, dude. That's why I think this is their best game. Like without a doubt, this is, even though I really like Sly, this is their best game in my opinion.
Well, and like I said, like, you know, it's interesting to see where the formula starts with Sly, and then it's just like, how did you get here? How did you stumble your way? Like, what
Dude,
did
crazy. Like, would you ever expect?
what did
I
the
mean,
boardroom meetings look like?
It's not too far off to assume that like they would make a samurai game, except it's interesting they chose samurai and not something like ninjas, because that seems more aligned with like, okay, we made Sly Cooper, which is basically a ninja game.
In a way, yeah.
You know, you're stealthy, getting around, stealing shit.
Sure.
So like they could have made a ninja game, but it's cool that they chose Japanese, because kind of the heart of this game is letting go of old ways for new ideas in order to save your people. Like the thing that the main character of this game is battling with is not fighting honorably in the eyes of the samurai. Samurai are very like, we do not stab you in the back. We do not do any of that. If we're going to fight you, it's 1v1 and you have all of my attention. Standoff. That's how the samurai were. Jin Sakai is learning that he has to use other battle mechanics and other tactics to take out the Mongols, because the Mongols have no honor. So the main character's like
Struggling with
that because his uncle, Lord Shimura, who is the one that basically took Jin Sakai under his wing after his father passed and raised him from a boy. His Jin Sakai's dad died when he was really young. All this is in the beginning of the game, by the way. I'm not spoiling anything major. There's so much more to this game that I have not even talked about. But just to kind of get you to be interested in the story, his uncle is not okay with Jin's practices and what he's been doing in order to retake over the island. Because this is based off a real piece of history. This is in the 1200s, the Mongol invasion. You had the Kublai Khan and all that take over all of Asia, and they got all the way up to the point of Tsushima Island, and they tried to take it over twice. There was only like 200 samurai on the island and like thousands of fucking Mongols trying to take it over, right? And the reason why they never took it over is because a giant, in real life, this not in the game, in the real life, a giant tsunami came in and destroyed all the ships.
Oh,
and
fuck.
they prayed to their god for something like that to happen. So, I mean, it's no wonder that they're like fucking, like they're like, this is real. It's like, imagine the chances of you being like, please save our people. And fucking,
It's like the equivalent of me asking for snow to not go to work.
or it's just like, yeah, dude. Or it'd be like, like,
God, if you're out there.
can you give me a fucking Corvette? And it just falls out of the sky. You'd be like, holy shit, God's real. Like, like literally. So,
Fuck,
but,
dude.
so in the game, they take that idea, and so the Mongols take over the island, because there was 2 invasions. So I think this is based around the first invasion. And so, like, it starts off with all the samurai on the beach, and you're just storming down there. They all get killed. You're pretty much the last samurai alive besides Lord Shimura. And they call you the Ghost because you don't necessarily fight like a samurai. You start out that way, but you progressively just become more of like a Ronin or like a ninja in your ways of approaching battle, And the reason why our character does that is because they have no respect for the land or the people. I mean, they're doing terrible things. I can't even tell you without getting in trouble with YouTube what they do to the people here, but you get the idea. So Jin has to like change the way that he approaches the fights, and it's super interesting, because you see that character development and you see what it takes for Jin to save his people. It's not about the honor and being one with the shogun and all the samurai. It's about saving the people. And if he has to sacrifice, his whole livelihood of becoming a samurai in order to do what's right for his people, then that's what he has to do. I mean, it's very similar to like Star Wars and like the ways of the Jedi and having to like get rid of the Jedi code in order to, you know what I mean?
Well, I was gonna bring up Jedi Survivor or whichever one it was, where you were telling me how like the main character is like trying to adapt his style to like I'm not really cool with using blasters, but kind of because of the times, like I'm trying to survive.
Right.
So it's just like incorporating a new way. It is sad that the idea of like, it's either it doesn't one for one follow the Batman. You either die here or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. It's like along similar like theming of just like, you know, either you adapt with the new times and survive and thrive, or you die with your culture. So it's just like, you know, I like. Oh, speaking of honor.
So this is like a more traditional way of how a samurai would fight.
Just one-on-one.
Just one-on-one. And if you nail this, it's all insta-kills, kind of like Sly 1. But if you fuck it up, it takes out like 80% of your health.
Dope, dude.
And then what you can do is like, okay, so this guy still wants to fight me. We're gonna change stances.
That was dope.
So then there's blood on the sword, right? Just fucking wipe that shit off, put it away like a badass.
Is
We'll bow over his grave. We'll play a little ditty. Hold on.
It's just the Shrek theme.
And then I saw her face. No, I'm just kidding. Now I'm a believer.
What is it? The DreamWorks theme?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Shrek.
I'm looking down. Oh, freaking
So what? As someone who has not played this game, you know, I think that's kind of cool for this specific developer for us, is because you have played the Sly games before. I had not until recently, and I've played this game for a while now. This game's long, and you have not even touched it. So what are your impressions of this game?
I mean, I've always been quietly interested in this game. It's just a matter of, like, I'm going through a phase in my gaming right now where it's just like, you know, I kind of want a couple more short experiences before I hard commit to something longer. But this is honestly extremely appealing, just either visually or the storytelling, the themes going on here. It's doing a lot good in my book.
One thing I want to say too is the reason I even know about the Mongol invasion and stuff is because of this game. This game piqued my interest in wanting to learn more about this time period. They did such a great job with the feel of this game's environment and feeling like you're actually in Tsushima and this is actually happening and it's actually a moment in history, that it made me go out of my way to look up the real history of the game. I mean, if that was the objective for Sucker Punch, I mean, bravo, dude. That's fucking awesome. You're teaching people about history through your video games. That's brilliant.
I think that's part
awesome.
of, like, I think that's some intention of something like Assassin's Creed as well, but this is executed so much more cleanly.
That's why I say I can't knock Assassin's Creed too much, because they do try to do that. It's just that it feels so by the numbers. Like, this feels like if you took an Assassin's Creed game and actually, I'm gonna sound so and give it to a real good developer.
Oh fuck! I
thought you were gonna shitty. Like, listen, I know people like.
I thought you were gonna
Assassin's...
say it's like, do you want to be Italian or you want to be Japanese? Come on.
No, but like, I don't know, man. Like, for example, my brothers really like the Assassin's Creed games. They liked Odyssey, they liked Valhalla, and I think
that far.
I think it's cool.
Maybe I'll get there one day.
And I fuck with the old ones. I like Assassin's Creed 2. I like Black Flag. Like, there's Assassin's Creed games that I'm like, okay, these games kind of slap.
Is Black Flag considered old now?
2014. That's 10 years ago.
I know it was on the PS3, but
I mean, 10 years ago.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
But I mean, well, I should say that it's not the last of the old style, but Assassin's Creed plays completely different now. I mean, it's damn near an RPG game now. That started with Origins, the Egyptian one, which one thing I'll say is that it was cool. It's cool going to the Pyramid of Giza. It's cool seeing ancient Egypt like that. It's just that everything in the fucking game, I mean, there's literally like 5,000 side quests to the point where you're like, why am I? It's such a fucking chore to get through this. And this game is, I'm not going to say it's guilty of that at times where you're just like, there's so much to do. But even then, at least everything that you do is interesting. Every side quest you do, you're like, okay, that's like an interesting take on this like stealthy approach of like, you know what I mean? Like there's some escorty type missions, but like I said, it's the way that they do it and the level design of how you get through these missions that is interesting.
When it comes to like a bigger game, like it's very easy to be like, God, I can't wait to get through this game. I can't wait for this game to be over. But it's an experience like this that by the time you're actually done with it, you'll be like, fuck, I miss my time with, like, because I mean, I haven't heard you say one negative thing about this game. So I know by the time you're actually done with it, you'll be like, fuck, man. Like, I'm kind of sad that it's over.
Yeah, I mean, the only negative that I have, which I don't even really give it a negative, it's just because the older I'm getting, it's harder to have time. You know, the time to sit and dedicate to a game is harder and harder. Like, my favorite video game of all time is Red Dead 2. Long fucking game. You know, just because it's long doesn't mean that I think it's bad. It's just, it's like, I don't know if I could replay that game now. I don't know if I have the time to sink that. You know, I've been playing this game, for an example, for like almost 2 years. I still haven't beaten it. I'm close, but it has taken me literally 77 hours to get to where I'm at now. It is a very long game, but I don't like it sucks for me. It's my personal gripe just because I don't have the time as much as I did when I was younger to sink into a game like this. But I mean, that's just a personal problem. That's not a problem of the developer. Everything they put within that is S tier. Like, everything you do in the game is awesome.
That's more to the point why I've been enjoying, like, you know, as much as I really do want to play this game eventually, I've been enjoying those like 5, 8, 10-hour games where it's just like
100%.
You feel like you have to commit a little bit to something as big as this, but you know, just once you're in the thick of it, like a game like this really like has you lock in and like really engrossed with the world, where it's just like, you know, you're not going to feel that as much with like a 5 or an 8 or a 10 hour, but like, I don't know, like if you're looking for something to get wrapped up into, this seems like one of the ways to go. And definitely shout out for Sucker Punch for making absolute bombshells of games throughout the years.
100%.
You have any closing thoughts, my good sir?
Let us know if you want more videos like this. We would love to talk more about other developers and like in a deep way like this, because I, you know, want to give the limelight to these guys, because video games are hard to fucking make.
I'm gonna let you guys know right now, it's happening one way or another.
Yeah.
Because honestly, this was a lot of fun, and then
a lot of fun. Yeah,
it has you like. It gives you a moment of like, oh man, I forgot this developer made this, or man, I never played this, and it might give you a reason to visit some crown jewels that you might not know about, or even just haven't had the time to get around to. But
yeah,
I think that's gonna do it.
I think that's it.
If you guys want to see more, remember check out the rest of the channel. We have a bunch of stuff, not just already produced, but coming to you guys very, very soon. And honestly, looking forward to more of 2024. You can absolutely check out this guy at CodeMeisterP or CodeMeister_P, depending on where you're looking.
You can also check out this guy at XG_Sen or G_Sen if you want to see more stuff of fighting. We've been doing a couple videos here and there of fighting games on our own channel. If you guys are interested in that, you should definitely go check out his shit, because he's actually really good at fighting games. So go check that out. And thanks for watching the video.
We'll see you guys later. Peace.